The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. We've got an exciting show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about igniting your potential and shining. So really how to step fully into the center stage of your life and shine. We have a great lineup of guests today. We have our powerful Victoria Buckmann and our very heart-centered, transformational Linda Lee. So you're in for a real treat today. But before we get into the show, I wanted to just walk you through a few things because we love interacting with you. This show is for you. And so I wanted to let you know how you can call into us, you can ask questions, you can send me messages, and I promise you're safe. One of the comments I've gotten in the past is that people were a little bit shy about calling in or emailing a message because they didn't necessarily want to have their name announced on the radio. So I wanted to let you know I will not share your name unless you tell me you want me to share your name, and then I'm very happy to do that. But I wanted to create a safe space for you, the listeners, to interact with us and really get information that's going to be supportive of you. So here's how you do that. You can call 888-346-9141. Again, that's 888-346-9141. Or if you're more of an email type, if you're at your computer and you look down the screen, you're going to see the blue banner that says Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. You scan just below that, you're going to see links that you can click to follow us on Facebook or Twitter. We're now on iTunes, and we love all of that. In fact, I am one like away on my main Facebook page to hitting one of those key points. So I would love one of you to go in and like me if you feel drawn to do so. But right below that, you're going to see a gray box that says send a message to the host. You simply click on that, type in your message, and then I will get that message just a few minutes after, and we will work as many comments and questions into the show as we can. The other thing I wanted to make sure you're aware of is we're going to be talking about amazing free gifts that my generous guests want to make available to each and every one of you. So the way to access those is if you look on that same screen over to the right, you're going to see links. And you simply click the first link that'll say free show gifts. For those of you that are listening to the replay, you can actually go to my website, www.yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. It's also a link there, and hit the radio show tab, and it will also provide that information to you. So we're excited to have you joining us. We want to encourage your interaction. And as I was getting ready for the show today, I had a couple of things placed on my heart that I really wanted to share with you as we're talking about igniting your potential and really stepping into that place and shining, letting other people see the amazing gift that you are to each and every one of us. And we can have fear that comes up sometimes. So I wanted to address that a little bit. And then I also wanted to share a behind-the-scenes moment with you, if that's okay. Victoria, Linda, will you let me do that?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Every week I meet with my executive producer, and we review the shows and go over the feedback that we get from everybody and how we can keep bringing the show to you in a way that serves everybody, because that's really our goal. We want to really empower and equip you to move forth in your life in a positive way. And last week I had shared a story about one of my grandmothers who really taught me to move forward unapologetically, in a sense, not asking for permission, but instead asking the question, what are they going to do? I'm the, and you would say your name. So I would say, I'm the Rebecca. What if I showed up in life that way, really just stepping into who I am and sharing that with everyone around? And I think sometimes we hold back and hide some of ourselves waiting for someone to give us permission. And so as we were talking about that, my producer, this is Robert Cellino, he goes, what are they going to do? I'm the producer. And I so loved it. Warmed my heart. So if you haven't listened to that show, I really encourage you to listen to last week's show and to really look at life that way. And I want to give you a shout out, Robert. I so appreciate you, value having you in my life and on my team, and love that you embraced that message and then reflected it back to me. So thank you. But going back to fear, I had an experience about 1.5 years ago when I was stepping out in a little bigger way. And to me that translated to being a little more vulnerable, sharing my message in a stronger way on platforms I had not shared it before. So it was a little scary. And I had someone have a really negative response to it. And so much so, they actually publicly went out and kind of aggressively marketed against me in some ways. And I ended up really hurt and really offended and really questioning what I was doing and thought about shrinking back a little bit. And I remember going to one of my mentors saying, look what the horrible thing this person said, and they're out there promoting it. Not only do they believe this about me, but they believe it so strongly, they're spending energy marketing it and pushing it out. And how can they think this about me? And it's not true. And this is slander. And I need to do something. And I'm hurt and I'm offended. And poor me. And I'm a victim. And this isn't right. It needs to be fixed. Like, that's how I came to him. And he looked at me and held that space for me. Let me go through everything I had to say about it. And then he smiled. And I paused because he shouldn't be smiling. He should be giving me a hug and making it better. And he said, congratulations. You actually are standing out and saying your message in a big enough way, in a clear enough way that you managed to ruffle a feather. Good job. And I looked at him and I said, but this isn't right. I don't want to offend people. He said, Rebecca, think about all the people you've helped, and you managed to ruffle a feather, and you're going to let that feather hold you back and hold back what you're called to do. Instead, I would embrace the fact that you've had enough of an impact that you did manage to ruffle a feather, that you're speaking clearly enough that people know they're your people or not, because that's how you can make a difference in the world. And I want you to keep going on, keep doing it, and keep standing in that space you're called to stand, and let God take care of the rest. And in that moment, it changed my whole mindset. Not that I'm going out there actively wanting to ruffle a bunch of feathers. That's not my goal. I want people to like me. I want them to appreciate the message. But I also will not let a feather stop what I'm called to do. And what I want to encourage you to just reflect for a moment. Take a deep breath. Those of you that are driving, just take the deep breath. Those of you who are not driving, I encourage you to close your eyes and just get still for a moment. And ask yourself, have I shrunk back a little bit because of a feather being ruffled? Have I stepped aside from the center stage of my life because I've ruffled a couple feathers? And I really want you to look at this, because what you are called to do and who you are and the amazing gift that you are to each one of us just by being you is too valuable and too important to stay hidden or to play smaller. We need you. You are the gift. There's not one of you in reserve somewhere waiting if we don't take center stage. So I really, really want you to seriously look at this and see, have I shrunk back a little bit, or am I a little afraid of ruffling a feather? And if you discover yes, what I want to invite you to do is to regroup, recenter, and move forward in the way that you're called. And remember all those other feathers that you've laid out beautifully, that you've been able to impact in a positive way, even if it's ruffled a couple here and there. It makes a powerful difference. And what you're called to do is too important to be stopped by a ruffled feather. And then in this quiet, centered space that we're just reflecting and breathing, I want to shift your focus a little bit. I invite you to now ask another question. How can I step more into my potential? How can I move more into the center stage of my life, not just in a supporting role, but really building a life on purpose and with purpose? And just ask, listen to your heart, listen to your mind, don't overscreen. Breathe in and just see if there's a word or two or three that come to mind. What is it that you need or want to be able to step more into your potential? Is it encouragement, support, the next steps? When we know what we need and we know and we have clarity on where we're supposed to go, it's a lot easier to recognize the things we should say yes to, the things that are going to be supportive in moving us forward. And Victoria, I didn't know if you had a word or two that came to mind that you'd like to share.
That's funny, Rebecca. I didn't have a word or two, but I had a perfect vision of a down pillow that was flying all around the room with all these feathers flying around the room, and I was just laughing and being like a little kid and having a joyful time in them. And then there was this one little feather that was way across the room, and I thought, too bad it couldn't come over here and have some fun with us.
Beautiful. Thank you. I like that. And I like how you're still inviting it to join. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how about you, Linda? Did you have a thought or a word that came to you?
Oh, it's just standing in your truth. Just standing there solidly, trusting what's coming. And you're right, Rebecca. When you are right in that place, everything you need to say yes to completely unfolds right before you.
Yes. Thank you. And the word that came to me was potential. I have this burden on my heart in a good way for all of you. I just feel all of you have such amazing potential, and my heart's cry and my heart's desire is for you to be equipped to step into it. And that's what I really want our show to be able to support you in doing today. And with that, I invite you to sit in that space a little bit more, see what comes up. We're getting ready to go to commercial break. I encourage you to interact with us, send us a message, go click some of those links, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Your people are waiting for you.
Do you speak to have more impact and grow your business? Your people are waiting for you, waiting to hear your unique message. Learn to speak more effectively on the Speakers Summit, a free summit designed for speakers like you. More info at thespeakersummit.com. Your people are waiting for you. Are you ready for them?
Your people are waiting for you. Be ready.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our wall. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all our show archives on demand. All from your iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android. Download it from the Apple App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
Build your better business. Achieve that goal. Make good on that resolution. The Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed your break there, and we look forward to getting some additional messages and communication from you. I wanted to introduce our first guest today, Linda Lee. One of the things I just love about you, Linda, is your amazing, grounded, loving, warm energy that you bring in everything that you do, in every interaction, and it's like being hugged every time I interact with you, and I so appreciate that. And listeners, I hope that you are feeling that throughout our show today. So thank you for being here, and let me give a little background. Linda is a life transformational coach, and her heart's desire is to really help you move beyond fear and to manifest an abundant and prosperous life. Linda, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Glad to have you. And I like to start off the questions with kind of your why. Why is this work so important to you? Why are you drawn, and why do you desire to help people live in this way and move beyond their fear?
Well, I can tell you that many of us in the holistic field get into this field because something's happened to us or something's happened to someone that we care about. And for me, it was someone that I care about very deeply, and that was my grandfather, and I was age 11. And it's not that I was especially close to him, but when everything happened and I was allowed to, I kind of took some time for myself and allowed myself to just contemplate this. I remember, and believe me, all this just did not come up because I had any intention of it. But I went in just to, get away from everything after the funeral, and 3 little questions came up. Because he passed away of cancer at the age of 59, and it was very quick. And my mind went to, oh my gosh, how did this happen? What caused it? What would prevent it? And then I scared myself. I go, these thoughts are really big. I literally realize now that I was pushing up against my own conscious awareness at that age. And as my life has unfolded, it's basically been about all of that, learning preventative health on all levels of our being, practicing that, implementing it in my life, and teaching others how to do the same.
Thank you. And speaking of teaching how to help others do the same, and bringing back in our subject of really igniting people's potential, do you have thoughts on that? Do you have ways to help people ignite their potential?
Absolutely, I sure do. First of all, the work I do, interestingly enough, I'm in that third phase of my questions, working with the deep inner mind, removing blocks and obstacles. And part of igniting our potential takes into account, once we've kind of cleared the rubbish out of my new book, The Power and Light That Is You, there's 7 steps to igniting your potential. And I'll just briefly let you know what those are. That is creating an intention, be clear and detailed and direct about that intention, taking action around that intention, create an unquestioning belief that you can actually create it, and feel deeply what you want to create with all of your emotions. And of course, remove the blocks and obstacles around it. Just step away from them and just acknowledge them for what they are, an illusion. And then trust the process of your potential and your dream just unfolding before your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And if you don't mind me taking a sidestep here, you mentioned a book. Can you tell us a little bit more about your book?
Oh, yeah, since we jumped into the, igniting your potential so quickly, I thought I'd throw that in there. Yes, and, I have to tell you that I credit being in the presence of Rebecca and her community for this book literally emerging in just about 1 year. It was 1 year almost to the date, last June 2013, to when my book arrived on my doorstep just at the end of May 2014. And all I can tell you is it's from my heart. It's got all the tools in there that a lot of tools I use in my practice, and it's got tools that will help attract and help you create all that you desire in your life by teaching you techniques on how to really become discerning about your thoughts, really examining your beliefs, and honestly just finding your own personal truth in that, because it is different for everyone.
And are you perhaps speaking or sharing any of this wisdom anywhere soon?
I am. I've been sharing bits and pieces in other areas of where I'm speaking. However, my big debut is at Rebecca Hall Gruyter's event July 26th in Walnut Creek, California, and I'm so excited about it. That was part of the impetus for me getting this book out, because I wanted something to have there. So this is kind of my coming out party, so to speak.
Well, we're excited to have you and be a part of that. And I have loved having the privilege of being on the journey with you. So excited for your book and excited that we're going to have the opportunity to have you on our live stage. It'll be wonderful.
Yes, I can't wait.
And one other thought I wanted to touch on is thoughts. And this is something I know you have an expertise in. And why are our thoughts or our words so important?
Well, let me just lay a quick groundwork, because I know time is of the essence. Back in the early part of this century, the early part of the 2000s, there was a movie out called What the Bleep. And I was introduced to a fellow named Masurio Emoto, who did experiments with water crystals, where he would sing, pray, speak words into the water crystals and flash freeze them. And so he found that positive words would make the most symmetrical, beautiful, white, crystal-y formations, and the not so positive were kind of disjointed and dingy yellow, and were not really pleasing to look at. And why I bring that up is because not only is our planet, but our bodies are made up of 70% water. So think about the fact that if we input into our mind on a regular basis that maybe we're not good enough, or we're not deserving, or we're not lovable, these things literally solidify in this body. They manifest in illness and disease, or they can, with joy and love and gratitude, certainly manifest in optimum health and well-being.
Yes. I was just sitting here as you were sharing that and thinking about, we're listening. The words we speak, whether it's out loud or inside, we're listening to. And
every cell, yeah.
Yeah, on a cellular level. And it's so important that we're aware of that and we're paying attention. So thank you for sharing that and about the crystals. It's a great thing to visualize and remember if we sometimes have that negative talk coming up.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I know you put together an amazing gift for our listeners today. Do you mind sharing a little bit about it?
Well, I have a free chapter available from my book, so you can get a taste of what it's all about. And if you desire to purchase it from there on out, then it's right there. And if anyone would like a free consultation, I am happy to provide that as well, and maybe even a little discount if anyone decides they want to go forward in a program.
Beautiful. And if they do want to take you up on that, do they just send you a quick email or note mentioning that they listened to the show? How should they do that?
Absolutely. You can contact me through my website, which is discoveryourpower.net, and just in the contact, just let me know that you listened to Rebecca's show, and I will take really good care of you, I promise.
Good. Thank you. I want my people taken care of. Good.
Yes.
Not that I would expect any different, but thank you, Linda. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that are going, I want that gift, how do I get that? Just a reminder, if you go to the right-hand column, you'll see the links, and they're kind of an orangey yellow color. And you click on the first one that says free radio show gifts, and that'll open up all of the gifts that we're talking about today. And in fact, it'll have gifts available from some of our past guests too. So I really encourage you to check that out. And then, Linda, did you have any last thoughts or one more thing you wanted to share? We have just a minute before we go to our commercial break, and I'd love to give you that opportunity.
Oh, thank you. Well, if I could get one thing across to your listeners, what I would like you to remember is, the theme today is becoming a star in your own life. You're not only the star, you are the center of the universe in your life. You are the creator of all that happens in your life, and that emanates outward. And remember that is a great responsibility to shine your light, ignite the potential that you have, and recognize it. And amazing things will begin to happen in your life, just as they are happening in mine as well. And again, thank you so much, Rebecca.
My honor and my privilege. Glad to have you. And as we're going to break, I want you to really think about what's a word that you could start giving to yourself that would create those beautiful symmetrical crystals within you and within your body, and really would be loving and supportive, that you can start feeding yourself that message and that information. We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
We're on Facebook along with some of the greatest minds of the world, and that includes you. Visit us on Facebook at Voice America Empowerment.
We all want peace. We all desire a more meaningful life. We work hard to achieve these things, but at what avail? The key is authentic living with Andrea Matthews. Andrea will interview some of the great spiritual experts of today and will provide wisdom to help you raise your consciousness to the level of your own I am. Your authenticity can give you miraculous gifts, but you have to know how to get there. Listen for Authentic Living with Andrea Matthews. Heard live every Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time on the Seventh Wave Network. Get ready to experience a more fulfilling lifestyle. Tune in to Direct Connect Empowerment with host Fee Mazanke. The show will feature guests who have changed their lives by using the Direct Connect coaching program or have worked with the same concepts that this program offers. By hearing how others have been transformed, you will be inspired to move forward. Direct Connect Empowerment with Fee Mazanke can be heard live every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed the break and you thought up some great, loving words to share with you. Because remember, you're listening, and we want to make sure that what you're hearing is supportive of who you are and helping you be a star, not only, as Linda was sharing, not only in your life, but in the universe. So we really want to support you in making that happen. Our next guest is Miss Victoria Buckmann. She is a good friend of mine. I'm honored to have her on the show today. And Victoria, I love your energy, your enthusiasm, how you are always raising the vibration of everyone around you. And I just appreciate and value that about you.
Well, thank you. And I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to give a little bit of a formal introduction so people who aren't familiar with you or don't know you just know a little bit of your background. But you are an international coach that specializes not only in shifting energy and moving that upwards and outwards, I would say, in a powerful way. You also help people really connect to their soul so that they can bring forward their gifts and their talents in a really powerful and energetically filled way. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
And then, Victoria, I always like to ask my guests this first question. I love to know your why this work is important to you, why you care about helping people connect to their souls and shifting their energies. Why do that work? Why do you want to share with people in that way?
I want to share with women especially because it's so empowering for us to be all of who we are. I had a mishap in my life where my financial advisor stole all of my life savings. And it took that for me to turn around and really recognize the gifts and talents that I have and start to use those to help others. So I've gone down this road where I started with myself. And I realized that it feels so fabulous to be all of you. And we have so many talents inside of us that we were born with, not skills or talents that we acquired, but who we are and the things that we were actually brought onto this planet with. And so I know that it's my mission. That is what I've been called here to do, to help bring that out, reconnect and awaken people's souls so that they can be all of who they are, reach their potential, stand center stage, ignite all of their excitement and all of this beauty that's inside of them. And that's my why, and it gets me going.
I love it. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And this is something I have heard you talk about in the past, and you've called it all of our parts. And as we're tying it into our theme today, we could think of it as our supporting characters. So how can women really shine in their life, show up in a powerful way, and get all of these parts of themselves, all these supporting characters, to cooperate to help them take center stage?
That's a fabulous question. So let me tell you a little bit what I mean about parts. Mm-hmm. We all have these inner voices that are speaking to us constantly. And most of the time, they're saying things that are not that nice, telling us how we messed up, or, we shouldn't be doing this, or what were we thinking. So these inner parts of yourself, when you start to interact with them, when you have a dialogue with them and start to make them your friend and allow them to be seen and heard and actually hear from these parts, it's like having a team member, a whole team, an inner team, that you get them all in alignment, and pretty soon they are actually working for you rather than against you. And that is really powerful.
Can you give an example of how that might work?
Yes. So we've all kind of heard of your inner critic. So I sat down with a pencil and paper, and I put a V for Victoria, and I would ask a question. Can I talk to my inner critic? The part of me that keeps telling me that I'm not doing, things right and I'm not good enough. And then I'd write down IC for inner critic, and whatever popped into my head, even if it felt like I was just making it up, I would write it down. And at first, this inner critic was very sarcastic, and it would say, what do you want to talk to me for? You haven't talked to me in, X number of years. And then I would just write down V for Victoria, and I would say, I would really love to hear from you. I'm sorry that I haven't been paying attention to you, but I'd like to hear from you now. Would that be okay? Will you have a conversation with me? And I would just go back and forth and dialogue with these parts until I got to a point where they were actually saying, yeah, I do have some things to tell you. And amazing stuff comes out.
Thank you. Thank you for kind of walking us through that, because I think sometimes conceptually it sounds great, but having a practical way to facilitate that conversation is really helpful. So I appreciate that, Victoria. I appreciate you walking us through that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I'm just going back to this concept of purpose, and if we have those conversations and we start lining up our parts where we've opened up that dialogue and now it's become a more supportive relationship, in a sense, how can that help us move forward on our purpose, and maybe even help us discover our purpose if we're not sure where it is? How do we discover that and move forward into it?
Well, it's really interesting. So when you do this work, if you go ahead and have a conversation with some of these parts And it's kind of an ongoing process. It might happen the very first time, but usually it doesn't. And it didn't for me. But I would converse back and forth for a while and do some journaling and talk with these parts. And then all of a sudden one day, this inner critic said, I'd really like to be called a coach rather than an inner critic, because we now have this friendly conversation. It's like you and I, Rebecca, how we would talk to one another. And so I promoted my inner critic to a coach. And then I told it how I would like it to talk to me. So now all of a sudden it gives me insights and really good information rather than criticism.
Beautiful. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, if we could turn all of those negative voices that we perceive as negative into promoting them as coaches, giving us helpful insights, that would help us feed those positive messages, like we were talking, Linda, to us, to be very supportive of where we're going, which can help us with stepping into our potential. So thank you, Victoria. I so appreciate that. And I loved the picture that you shared in the beginning of the show about that one little feather. And I loved your attitude about that, I hope they want to come and play. And to me, it's that same kind of collaboration and pulling them in. So I just think that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to give you a moment to share two things. So one, I'd love for you to share with our listeners about your amazing free gift. And then, is there some place you might be speaking or sharing sometime soon that you'd like to share about too?
Yes. Let me talk about the free gift. The free gift is a meditation that I put together so that you can tap into the part of you that I call your higher counsel or your higher guidance. And you're going to hear from that part that only speaks lovingly to you. And the meditation takes you through a short little process where you get the 5 different qualities that you came in with when you were born. These are the qualities of who you are. When you walk into a room, what does someone see when you walk in, even before you've said anything at all? And this meditation, and when you get these qualities, this is amazing because it leads right into your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing in the world. And along with the meditation, I've given them a free discovery session, which is a free session with me so that I can help them to really uncover those 5 qualities if they haven't already, and then show them how that just reflects back to them what their real purpose is and how they can incorporate that purpose into work that they're already doing or move into work that's more purposeful for themselves. And I'm very excited about speaking this Saturday on Rebecca's stage right here in Walnut Creek. And we're going to talk about these parts a little bit more, and we're going to, give some really good insights to people. So Rebecca's events are always fabulous. It's the best community, and the additional little tidbit you get is you get to hear me speak.
Exactly. Thank you, Victoria, for sharing. And listeners, I just really want to encourage you to take advantage of these free gifts, especially being able to have private time to connect with our guests and ask your questions and get support, and stepping into your potential is really, really wonderful opportunity. So I really encourage you to reach out to them, to take advantage and say yes to yourself and to these gifts to support you on your journey. And I want to thank both of you for making yourself so accessible and available to really support our listeners. I really value and appreciate that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And listeners, again, if you go to the right-hand column, you will see the free radio show gifts. I'm going to encourage you to click on that and open up all of the wonderful opportunities. And then, Victoria, we just have a few seconds before we're going to our next break. And so any last thought that you want to share that's on your heart, I'd love to give you that opportunity.
I would love to give everyone one little tidbit that they could do really easily right now that would make a difference in their life. If they would put a little notebook and carry it around for a week. And there are things that those voices in your head say over and over and over. Become aware of them. Pay a little bit of attention. Jot them down. And when you see these sayings are usually on the more negative side, just becoming aware of that, it will start to shift.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that tip. And we will be back in just a moment.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Want more positivity in your life? Are you ready to get healthy, happy, and energized? Join the Stella Donna Goddess Gals, Cynthia Bryan and Heather Brittany, for a power hour of stimulating, supportive conversation on Star Style. Be the star you are. A lineup of best-selling authors, celebrities, and experts join the effervescent mother-daughter dynamic duo in this upbeat, positive, life-changing talk radio playground. Star Style. Be the star you are. Wednesdays, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Lend us your ears. It's power time.
Do you or somebody you love have a struggle with abuse? You don't need to be a slave to your abuse anymore. Listen for Beyond Abuse, Beyond Therapy, Beyond Anything with Dr. Lisa Cooney. Dr. Lisa overcame struggles in her own life. 2 decades of sexual, emotional, and physical abuse nearly took their toll. In her 20s, she turned her life around and set upon a path to help others. She can help you find the key to take control of your life, too. Listen every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Now there's a new destination for video content, voiceamerica.tv. Just like our radio channels and so much more. Voice America Variety, Health and Wellness, Business, Sports, Green Talk, Power Up Motorsports, and Seventh Wave Network now have their own video channel components. Plus, check out exclusive programming, including movies, music, educational courses, science and history, current events, and short features. High-definition, premier quality programs available 24/7. VoiceAmerica.tv. If you think you've seen online TV like this before, let us surprise you.
Success starts here. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com. It's your world.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I've really been enjoying, Victoria, having you and Linda, both of you, on the call today and sharing your wisdom and insight. And it's interesting, during this last break, we just started talking, and we were talking about feathers. And Victoria, do you mind sharing your comment that you had about little white feathers, kind of what that means, and what you've been discovering around the house about that?
Yes, it's known that when you have angels around, they leave little white feathers behind as kind of evidence that they've been, in your house or near you. And I don't have anything in my house that has feathers, but yet I go around my house and I find these little white feathers everywhere, and I pick them up, and it's like, oh, yes, I have angels. So it's very cool.
Very, very cool. And Linda, you had made a comment and just shared a little bit around that too. Do you mind sharing that? I thought it was really touching.
Oh, no. Somebody in my life who I really cared about several years ago was going through something pretty horrific, and I just had kept her in my prayers and hoped that everything was okay. And I was outdoors in a place where there were dry leaves, breeze blowing, and I was walking by where in the vicinity that she was at, and right there were 3 beautiful white feathers, and I knew at that moment I could rest at ease that she was going to be okay, and she was being protected, and I just knew that instinctively. And so it's fun that Victoria brought up angels and feathers. Oh, I love it.
Thank you for sharing, both of you. And what I was thinking as you were sharing those things, and I appreciate you being willing to share them with our listeners, is be on the lookout for those little white feathers in your life, literally and encouraging things. It can be something physical that you see that's a reminder to you that you're not alone, that it's being taken care of, that you're being encouraged and supported. So we talked about in the beginning the ruffled feather, that's something to look at and value and see. Am I having ruffled feathers? Because you should have some ruffled feathers if you're stepping out and you're speaking clearly and you're moving whatever you're called to move forward. But also there are these other beautiful, encouraging feathers that you can find in your life as well. So I want to really encourage you to be looking for all of those feathers in your life, to really be looking for kind words that you can bring into all of you so that you can bring all of you forward. And I really, really want you to find a way to have all of you, all of your parts, all of your gifts, everything come together in a more collaborative, united way to bring you forward. Because as I said in the beginning, we need you. You are one of the greatest gifts to each and every person in your life. And I want you to bloom where you're planted and shine. I wanted to also share with you what's coming up next week, because we've talked a lot today about discovering your potential and igniting your potential and being aware of when we're setting or stepping aside, when we're not being center stage, and how important that is. And next week, we're going to be really talking about how to support you as a star in your own life. I have the amazing Vicky Del Joyo and Laura Lopez, who will be really talking about how to live an enriching, supportive life so you can be the star that you're called to be. So we want to continue with that shiny spark, really discovering your star qualities and all of your gifts and talents, bringing them forward, and then empowering and equipping you to keep moving forward, because it's a huge gift to each and every one of us when you're willing to do that. Taking one more deep breath together. And Victoria and Linda, I didn't know if you had last thoughts that you wanted to share, one more thing that was on your heart that would really serve our listeners today.
Well, Rebecca, when you say igniting and shining your full potential, when you bring all of you, all of these voices and all of your parts into alignment, when you say center stage, I kind of see these parts all coming down into the core of you all together. That's when you do really ignite your creativity, shine your brilliance, bring all your potential forward. So I just encourage people to start talking to themselves.
Good. In a good, positive way.
Yes.
Opening the channels of communication. Exactly.
Yes.
And Linda, did you have any additional thoughts?
Yes, and this morning it was interesting. I ran across some Leo Biscaglia stuff from way back when, and there was a little quote in there and something to the effect of, life is our gift, and love is the affirmation to that. And when you make loving decisions for yourself, you step away from your fears and you stand in your power, just like Victoria said, you start to emanate in a whole other way, vibrate in a high level way. When you come from love, everything shifts and changes because you're coming from a higher level of consciousness. it's just imperative that we begin to get really discerning about all of our thoughts and how we conduct our lives, because it is a great responsibility and a great gift to be here.
Yes. Yes, I absolutely agree. And I think the thought I'd like to share on this is that you have a choice. We all have a choice that we can kind of let life happen to us, or we can choose to make decisions in that and purposely interact with life to manifest, to bring forth, to really shine in the way we're gifted to do so, and really taking that center stage. And the event that Victoria is participating in is called Summer Star in Style, as one of our speakers. And the whole theme that we're focused on that day is to be a star in your own life. And it's not something that just happens by accident that you stumble upon. And it's not coming from this place of arrogance, it's all about me. But it's coming from this place of, I'm doing what I'm called to do. I'm stepping into that. I'm going to equip, empower myself to bring the best of me forward. And that's what I really want to charge you to do. That's the spark I want to encourage all of you listeners to really embrace and question and ask and seek. How can I really be the shining star in my own life that I'm called to be? How can I fully occupy and express myself in the role I get to play in this life? And how do I choose to share who I am with others and be really purposeful about it? Because it is a huge gift to each of us when you're willing to share who you are. And we need you. And with that, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, shining week. And we will look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.